Question number 1, part A. Mangoes are to be exactly divided into groups of 20, 30 or 36. What is the minimum number of mangoes required? Okay, so for this one, we are supposed to find the LCM of these three numbers. So we are going to draw a table and then we are going to list the numbers given. Then here we have 20, here is 30, and here is 36. Okay, so first we are going to ask ourselves, what is the minimum number which can divide either of these numbers? So we are going to start with number 2. Okay, so first we are going to take 20 divided by 2, of which the answer is going to be 10. And for this one, 30 divided by 2, the answer is going to be 15. And for this one, 36 divided by 2, the answer is going to be 18. Okay, so we are going to ask ourselves, what is the next number which can divide this one? Then the next number is still number 2. So here the answer is going to be 5. But here the value is going to be 15 because 15 is not divisible by 2. The value here is going to be 9. Okay, so our next number which we are going to use is number 3. So here is not possible, so the answer is going to be 5. And here the value is 5, and here the value is 3. Our next number is still number 3. So dividing here, we are still having 5. Here is 5, and here is 1. Then the next number here is going to be 5. So dividing here, we are getting 1, and here is 1, and here is 1. Okay, so now to get the LCM, we are going to multiply these divisors. Then our equation is going to be 2 times 2 times 3 times 3 times 5, of which after solving the values, the answer is going to be 180. And this is the minimum number of mangoes required. Part B of the question, Mary was given 60,000 shillings by her mother. She spent 35% of the money to buy shoes and 10% of the remaining money to buy books. How much money remained? Okay, so this is the percentage problem. Then first we are going to find the money spent for shoes. So we are going to take 35 over 100 times 60,000, which after solving the values, the answer is going to be 21,000. Okay, so next we are going to find the remainder amount. Then we are going to take 60,000 minus 21,000, of which after solving these values, the answer is going to be 39,000. Okay, so amount spent for books equals to 10% of the remainder amount. Then we are going to take 10 over 100 times 39,000, of which after solving the values, the answer is going to be 3,900. Now, the total amount which remains is going to be 60,000 minus 21,000 minus 3,900, of which after solving the values, we are going to get 35,100. And this is going to be the amount of money remained. Question number 2, part A. Find the value of x if under root 5 power 2x minus 3 minus 9 equals to 116. Okay, so this is an exponential problem. So first step, we are going to collect the like terms. Then our equation is going to be under root 5 power 2x minus 3 equals to 116 plus 9. Solving this, our equation is going to be under root 5 power 2x minus 3 equals to 125. Okay, so next we are going to square both sides in order to eliminate the root. Then our equation is going to be 5 power 2x minus 3 equals to 125 power 2. Okay, so now let us express our right hand side as base 5. Then our equation is going to be 5 power 2x minus 3 equals to, in brackets, 5 power 3 squared. Okay, so now let us compute the exponents. Then our equation is going to be 5 power 2x minus 3 equals to 5 power 6. Okay, so next we are going to equate the exponents because their bases are the same. Then our equation is going to be 2x minus 3 equals to 6. So next we are going to combine the like terms. Then our expression is going to be 2x equals to 6 plus 3. Solving this, we are going to have 2x equals to 9. Let us now divide by 2 both sides. Then our equation is going to be x equals to 4.5. And this is going to be our answer. Part B, we are supposed to find the value of this expression by using a mathematical table. Okay, so this is the logarithm problem. So first we are going to let x equals to the expression given from our question. So we say x equals to 3.143 times, in brackets, 0.81 squared over under root 35. Okay, so next let us apply the logarithm both sides. Then our equation is going to be log x equals to log 3.143 times 0.81 squared over under root 35. Okay, so now let us summarize the values on our right hand side in a table below in order to find their logarithms. Okay, so we are going to draw a table which is going to have the numbers as given from the question, their standard form, and their logarithm. Okay, so we are going to start with this first number, 3.143. Then writing this in its standard form, then we are going to have 3.143 times 10 power 0. Okay, so now to get its logarithm, we are going to read log 3.143 from the table, and then we are going to add 0 from 10 power 0 using the additional rule of logarithm. Then the answer is going to be 0.4973. Our next number is this 0.81 squared. Okay, so next let us write this in a standard form. So we are going to have 8.1 times 10 power negative 1 squared. Okay, so finding its logarithm, we are going to read from the table log 8.1. Then using the additional rule, we are going to add by 1 from 10 power negative 1. Then the value is going to be bar 1.9085. Then with this one, we are going to apply the exponential rule by multiplying the result by 2. Then after multiplying the values, the answer is going to be bar 1.8170. Okay, so now to get the value for our numerator, we are going to apply the additional rule of logarithm. Then we are going to add these two values. Then after summing the values, the answer is going to be 0.3143. Okay, so now for the denominator, we are going to take this under root 35, and then writing this in a standard form, we are going to have 3.5 times 10 power 1 power half. Okay, so to find its logarithm, we are going to read log 3.5 and we are going to add 1 from 10 power 1 using the addition rule. The value we are going to get is 1.5440. And then using the exponential rule, we are going to multiply this value by half. Then the value for our logarithm is going to be 0.7720. Okay, so now we are going to apply the quotient rule of logarithm. Then we are going to minus 0.7720 from 0.3143. Then the answer is going to be bar 1.5423. Now this is the value for log x. Then x equals to antilog of bar 1.5423. Reading this from the antilog table, we are going to have x equals to 0.3486. And this is going to be our answer. Question number 3, part A. Use the following Venn diagram to answer the questions that follow. Okay, so we've been given the diagram there. For Roman 1, we are supposed to find the number of subsets of set B complement. Okay, so from the figure we've been given, set B complement is going to be element A, E, C, F, and G. Okay, so to find the number of subsets on a set is given by the following formula, which says 2 power n, whereby n is a number of elements. So for set B complement, when counting the elements, we find that they are 5. So number of subset of set B complement is going to be 2 power 5, of which after solving the values, we are going to have 32 subsets, and this is going to be our answer. Okay, so for Roman 2, we are supposed to find the elements of set A complement intersection B. Okay, so from the figure, set A complement has the following elements, which are A, E, B, D, and H. And elements in set B are B, D, and H. Then we can see that A complement intersection B is set B, D, and H. And this is going to be our answer. Okay, so for Roman 3, if an element is picked at random from the universal set, find the probability that it is not an element of set B. Okay, so an element that is not an element of set B is the same as set B complement. Okay, so from Roman 1 above, set B complement has elements A, E, C, F, and G. Then counting the number of B complement are 5. Also from the figure, universal set has elements A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and H. Then counting the number of elements in this set are 8. Okay, so from the formula of probability is given by probability of an event equals to number of events over number of sample space. Okay, so for this one, number of event is going to be 5 and the number of sample space is going to be 8. Then let us substitute these values. Then we are going to have probability of an event equals to 5 over 8. And this is going to be our answer. Part B of the question, the Ministry of Business and Industries has planned to employ 54 people who will work in the business sector, 36 people who will work in industries sector only, 12 people who will work in both sectors, and 21 people who will neither work in business sector nor in industries sector. How many people will be employed by the ministry? We have been told to use a Venn diagram. Okay, so this is the set problem. So first, we are going to let B to represent employees in business sector, of which we have been told they are 54. And also, we are going to use letter I to represent employees in industry sector. Then to find employees in business sector only, we are going to take 54 minus number of people who work in both sectors, who are 12 people, which after solving the values, we are going to get 42 employees. Okay, so next we are going to sketch our Venn diagram and then we are going to represent this information in our Venn diagram. Okay, so we are starting by drawing a table. And then our table is going to have 2 cycles. The first one for employees in business sector, and the next one is for industry sector. And this is going to be our universal set. So next, we are going to fill the obtained values above. So here, the value is going to be 42, and here is 12, and here is 36, and those who study neither are 21. Okay, so now to find the total number of people employed, we are going to take people in business sector only plus people in both sectors plus people in industry sector only. So we are going to take 42 plus 12 plus 36, which after solving the values, we are going to get 90. So this is the total number of people employed. Question number 4, part A. Find the equation of a line passing through the point A with the coordinates -3, 4, and it is parallel to the line 3x plus 4y minus 15 equals to 0. Okay, so this is the coordinate geometry problem. Something to note is that parallel lines have equal gradients. Okay, so from this line, 3x plus 4y minus 15 equals to 0. let us express this in form of y equals to mx plus c, of which m is a gradient. Okay, so rearranging this equation in this format, we are going to have 4y equals to negative 3x plus 15. Okay, so now let us divide by 4 both sides. Then our equation is going to be y equals to negative 3 over 4x plus 15 over 4. Okay, so from this line, gradient is going to be negative 3 over 4. And this is going to be the same gradient for the line passing through point A with the negative 3, 4. Okay, so now to find the equation of a line, we are going to use the following formula, which says y equals to m in brackets x minus x1 plus y1, of which x1, y1 is negative 3, 4, and our slope is negative 3 over 4. So let us use these values into our equation. Then we are going to have y equals to negative 3 over 4 in brackets x minus 3 plus 4. Okay, so now let us open the brackets. Our equation is going to be y equals to negative 3 over 4x minus 9 over 4 plus 4. Okay, so let us now combine the constant terms. Then our equation is going to be y equals to negative 3 over 4x plus 7 over 4. Okay, so now let us multiply by 4 both sides. Then our equation is going to be 4y equals to negative 3x plus 7. Now let us rearrange this equation. Then we are going to have 3x plus 4y minus 7 equals to 0. And this is going to be our answer. Part B of the question, the points P, Q, and R are those coordinates respectively. We are supposed to show that these points form an isosceles triangle. Okay, so this is the geometry problem. We have to remember that isosceles triangle is a triangle that has two sides with an equal length. Now to show this, we are going to use the distance formula in order to find the distances between the points, and then we are going to see if we have equal values. So we are going to sketch a triangle and we are going to label the values as given from the question. So we are sketching our triangle. So the point here is P with 5, negative 3, Q with negative 6, 1, R with 1, 8. Okay, so now let us recall the distance formula, which says distance equals to under root in brackets x2 minus x1 squared plus y2 minus y1 squared. So now we are going to start with the point P as our first point and Q as our second point, and we are going to call this as distance 1. Then our first distance is going to be under root in brackets negative 6 minus 5 squared plus in brackets 1 minus 3 squared. Solving this, we are going to get distance 1 equals to under root 137. Okay, so next we are going to take point P as our first point and point R as our second point, and then we are going to call this as distance 2. Then finding the distance 2, we are going to have under root in brackets 1 minus 5 squared plus in brackets 8 minus 3 squared, of which, solving this, we are going to have distance 2 equals to under root 137. Okay, so now from these results we can conclude that D1 equals to D2. Then points PQR forms an isosceles triangle. Question number 5, part A. If AB is parallel to CD and CD is a transversal, sketch the line segments and label on the same diagram the following pairs of angles. Okay, so for Roman 1, we are supposed to label the corresponding angles of A and G. Okay, so we have to recall that in geometry, the transversal line is a line that cuts across two parallel lines. So we are going to start by drawing the two lines. So first we are going to draw line AB, and then we draw line CD, and we've been told that these two lines are parallel. Okay, so now we have to remember that line CD is transversal, meaning two parallel lines are crossing it. So we are going to draw them as well. Therefore, now we can label the required angles. Okay, so for Roman 2, we are supposed to label on the same diagram the alternate interior angles of F and G. Okay, so we have to recall that corresponding angles are angles that occupy the same position at each intersection. So we are going to show them from the figure as follows. For Roman 3, we are supposed to label vertically opposite angles C and D. Okay, so we have to remember that vertically opposite angles are the ones that are opposite to each other. Okay, so now we are going to show vertically opposite angles in line AB from the figure as follows. Okay, so now we have completed our sketch as requested with all required angles shown. Part B of the question, given that triangle ABC is similar to triangle PQR, and you've been given that AB equals to 4 centimeters, BC equals to 5 centimeters, and PQ equals to 18 centimeters, and angle PQR is 30 degrees, we are supposed to find the area of a triangle PQR. Okay, so this is the geometry problem. We have to recall that in geometry, similar triangles are those which have equal corresponding angles and the proportional corresponding sides. So for them to be similar, the value of the angles has to be equal, and their sides should have the same ratio. Okay, so now let us sketch them. So we start with the triangle ABC. Here is 4 centimeters and here is 5 centimeters. Then now let us sketch the triangle PQR. The value here is 18 centimeters and here is 30 degrees. Okay, so from this one, finding the area of a triangle PQR, we need first to find the length of a side QR in a triangle PQR. So we are going to apply the proportionality feature, of which we are expecting their ratios to be the same. Then their ratio correspondence is going to be AB over PQ is going to equal BC over QR. Okay, so now let us apply the given values. Then we are going to have 4 over 18 equals to 5 over QR. Let us now cross multiply these values. Then we are going to have 4 times QR equals to 18 times 5. Next, let us divide by 4 both sides. We are going to have QR equals to 18 times 5 over 4. After solving the values, we are going to have QR equals to 22.5 centimeters. Okay, so from this triangle PQR, we can see that now we have two sides and we have an angle between those two sides. Then to find the area, we are going to use the following formula, which says area equals to 1 over 2 times PQ times QR times sine 30 degree. Okay, so we have to remember that the value of sine 30 degree is 0.5. Okay, so applying this, we are going to have area equals to 1 over 2 times 18 times 22.5 times 0.5, of which after solving the values, we are going to have area equals to 101.25 centimeters squared. And this is the area of a triangle PQR requested. Question number 6, part A. Mr. Ugango from Kenya visited Tanzania. He had 5,000 Kenya shillings and wanted to change the money into US dollar. If $1 was equivalent to 2,500 Tanzania shillings and 1 Kenya shillings was equivalent to Tanzania shillings 20, how much US dollar did he get? Okay, so this is the currency conversion problem. And since Mr. Ugango visited Tanzania and he had 5,000 Kenya shillings and he wanted to convert it into US dollar, then we must first convert it into Tanzania shillings by using Kenya shillings and Tanzania shillings equivalent. And then we are going to convert it into US dollar by using Tanzania shillings and US dollar equivalent. So we have 1 Kenya shillings is equivalent to 20 Tanzania shillings. 5,000 Kenya shillings is going to equal how much? So we are going to let this as T. Okay, so now let us cross multiply this function. We are going to have T equals to 5,000 times 20, of which after solving the values, we are going to have T equals to 100,000 Tanzania shillings. Okay, so now converting this into US dollars, we are going to say 1 US dollar is equivalent to 2,500 Tanzania shillings. How much US dollars will equal 100,000 Tanzania shillings? So we are going to call this as U. Then next, let us cross multiply this equation. Then we are going to have 2,500 500 U equals to 100,000. Okay, so now let us divide by 2,000 both sides. Then our equation is going to be U equals to 100,000 over 2,500. Solving this, we are going to have U equals to 40 US dollars. Then Mr. Ogango is going to get 40 US dollars in Tanzania. Part B of the question, a gardener has found the time t to cut the grass on a square field varies directly as a square of its length and inversely as the number of men doing the job. If 5 men cut grass on a field of a side 50 meters in 3 hours, how many more men are required to cut grass on a field of a side 100 meters in 5 hours? Assuming that the men are working on the same pace. Okay, so this is the variation problem. We have been told that time varies directly with the square of a length, so it's going to be L squared, and also been told that time varies inversely with the number of men. Okay, so now let us introduce the constant of proportionality K. Then our expression is going to be T equals to K times L squared times 1 over N. Okay, so next let us make K as a subject. Then our equation is going to be K equals to NT over L squared. Okay, so for this one, we are going to take T equals to 3, L is 50, and N is 5 as given in our question in order to find the value of K. Then our expression is going to be K equals to 5 times 3 over 50 squared, which equals to 3 over 500. Okay, so now using the same equation for K, let us now substitute T with 5, L with 100 in order to find the value of N from the formula. Then our expression is going to be 3 over 500 equals to N times 5 over 100 squared. Okay, so now let us cross multiply this equation. We are going to have N times 5 times 500 equals to 3 times 100 squared. So next we are going to divide by 5 times 500 both sides. Then our equation is going to be N equals to 3 times 100 squared over 5 times 500, of which after solving the values we are going to have N equals to 12. Okay, so now to find the additional men required, we are going to take this 12 men minus 5 men, of which after solving the values we are going to get 7 men, and this is going to be the answer. Question number 7A. Misumbwi, Shuma, and Kiando contributed those much shillings respectively to start a business. We are supposed to find the ratio of their contribution in its simplest form. Okay, so this is the ratio problem. So to find the ratio, let us introduce the ratio sign between the values. Then we are going to have 770,000 ratio 560,000 ratio 1,050,000. Okay, so now let us divide by 10,000 in order to eliminate the zeros. Then our ratio is going to be 77 ratio 56 ratio 105. Then next we can simplify this ratio further, so we are going to divide each number by 7. Then we are going to have 11 ratio 8 ratio 15. And this is going to be our final answer. Part B of the question, use the following trial balance to prepare a trading profit and loss account of Mr. Ruaichi as at 31st December 2015. So we've been given the trial balance with the account balances there. Okay, so we have to recall that this is coming from accounting. Then let us start with the trading account. Okay, so just a recap, a trading account involves determination of a gross profit of a business. So we are going to sketch our trading account, which is going to have two sides, the debit side and the credit side. So we are going to start with the opening inventory, which in our question it was 0. Then add purchases, which we've been given as 2,300,000. Then the value here is going to be 2,300,000. And this is going to be cost of goods available for sale. Okay, so next we are going to record the sales value, which is 3 million. So now we can find the gross profit for our trading account, which is a balancing figure. So our gross profit carried down is going to be 700,000, obtained by taking this 3 million minus 2.3 million. So finalizing our trading account, the total here is going to be 3 million, and also the total here is going to be 3 million. Okay, so next we are going to prepare the profit and loss account. We have to recall that the profit and loss account is going to take other expenses in order to get the net profit from the business. So here we are going to have a gross profit brought down coming from the trading account. The value is 700,000. Then on our debit side, let us now list the expenses given. So here we have rent, which have been given 200,000, salaries 250,000, wages 100,000. And then after completing all the expenses, we are going to compare the total of expenses with the gross profit brought down in order to find the value of a net profit carried down. So finding the value of a net profit, the value here is going to be 150,000. So finalizing our profit and loss account, the total here is going to be 700,000, and also here is going to be 700,000. And this is going to be our trading profit and loss account. Question number 8, part A. Given that 49, x and 81 are consecutive terms on a geometric progression, we are supposed to find for Roman 1 the value of x. Okay, so we have to recall that in geometric progression, two consecutive terms gives the common ratio between them, meaning the ratio between the second term and the first term is going to be equal the ratio of the third term and the second term. Okay, so using that relation, we are saying G2 over G1 is going to equal G3 over G2. Okay, so now for the given values from our equation, then the relation is going to be x over 49 is going to equal 81 over x. Okay, so now let us cross multiply these values. Then our equation is going to be x squared equals to 49 times 81. So next we are going to introduce root both sides. Then our equation is going to be x equals to under root 49 times 81. Solving this, we are going to have x equals to under root 3,969, of which after solving the values, we are going to get 63. Therefore, the value of x is going to be 63. For Roman 2, we are supposed to find the geometric mean. Okay, so for this one, we have to recall the formula to find a geometric mean, which says geometric mean equals to root with the index n, g1 times g2 times g3 and so on, of which n is the number of terms and the g's are the given terms. Okay, so now we are going to substitute the values given from the question. Then our equation is going to be geometric mean equals to cube root 49 times 63 times 81. Solving this, we are going to have geometric mean equals to cube root 250,047, of which solving the values we are getting geometric mean equals to 63. And this is going to be our answer. For part B, a wall is in the shape of a trapezium. The first level of the wall is made up of 50 bricks, whereas the top level has 14 bricks. If the levels differ from each other by 4 bricks, we are supposed to determine the number of, for Roman 1, the levels of the bricks. Okay, so this is the word problem for arithmetic progression. We have to recall that in arithmetic progression, any two consecutive terms give the same difference. Okay, so we've been given the first level of the wall is made up of 50 bricks and the top level has 14 bricks. So we are going to interpret this as the first level is the first term noted as A1 and the top level is the last term noted as AN. And the levels of the bricks is the number of terms noted as n. And we have been given the common difference between the levels as 4 bricks. Okay, so now to find the nth term of the arithmetic progression, we are going to use the following formula, which says an equals to a1 plus, in brackets, n minus 1 times d. Okay, so now let us substitute the values. Something to note is, since the number of bricks decrease as the level increases, then the value of d is going to be negative. Then let us substitute these values into our formula. Then our equation is going to be 14 equals to 50 plus, in brackets, n minus 1 times negative 4. Okay, so now let us open the brackets. Then we are going to have 14 equals to 50 minus 4n plus 4. Okay, so next we are going to collect the constant values. Then our equation is going to be 4n equals to 50 plus 4 minus 14. Solving this, we are going to have 4n equals to 40. Okay, so next we are going to divide by 4 both sides. Then our equation is going to be n equals to 10. Therefore, we can conclude that the levels of the bricks is 10 levels. For Roman 2, we are supposed to find the bricks used to make the wall. Okay, so for this one, to find the total number of bricks used, we are going to use the formula to find the sum of terms in arithmetic progression, which says Sn equals to n over 2 in brackets a1 plus an, of which from the information above, n is 10, a1 is 50, and an is 14. So let us now substitute these values. Then our equation is going to be Sn equals to 10 over 2 in brackets 50 plus 14, of which after solving the values, we are going to have Sn equals to 320. And this is going to be the total number of bricks used. Question number 9, part A. The following diagram shows the location of the houses A, B, and C. How far is the house A from house B? And for this one, we are supposed to give the answer to the nearest meters. Okay, so for this one, to know how far is house A from house B, first we are going to calculate the distance AB from the given figure. And to do that, we can simply apply the sine rule, which says sine C over AB equals to sine B over AC, which also equals to sine A over BC. And our interest is just distance AB, then we are going to ignore this one, sine A over BC. So we are just going to concentrate on this relation. Okay, so now let us find the value of an angle C so that we can determine the value of sine C. Okay, so from our triangle, we know that angle A plus B plus C is going to give us 180 degrees. Okay, so let us substitute the values given from the sketch. Then our equation is going to be 60 plus 70 plus C equals to 180 degrees. Solving for C, we are going to have C equals to 180 minus 70 minus 60, of which after solving the values, we are going to have C equals to 50 degrees. Then substituting this value into our relation, we are going to have sine 50 over AB equals to sine 70 over 900. Okay, so now let us cross multiply these values. Then our equation is going to be AB times sine 70 equals to 900 times sine 50. Okay, so next we are going to divide by sine 70 both sides. Then our equation is going to be AB equals to 900 times sine 50 over sine 70. Okay, so from the table, sine 50 equals to 0.766, and sine 70 equals to 0.9397. Then let us substitute these values. Our equation is going to be AB equals to 900 times 0.766 over 0.9397, of which after solving the values we are getting AB equals to 733.64. Then house A is 733.64 meters from house B. Part B, a rectangular frame is made of wooden bars. The diagonal of the frame is 25 centimeters long and its width is 15 centimeters. Find the length of the frame. Okay, so this is geometric problem, and let us sketch our problem. Okay, so let us sketch our rectangle. So here we are going to have A, B, C, D. Okay, so the value here is 15 centimeters and here is 25 centimeters. Okay, so to find the length of the frame, we are going to consider a triangle ABD, and with that one, we are going to apply a Pythagoras theorem in order to find the side AB, which is the length of a frame. Okay, so the theorem says AC squared equals to AB squared plus BD squared. Okay, so now let us substitute the given values. Then our equation is going to be 25 squared equals to AB squared plus 15 squared. Okay, so now let us make AB square as a subject. Then our equation is going to be AB squared equals to 25 squared minus 15 squared. Okay, so next we are going to apply the root both sides. Then our equation is going to be AB equals to under root 25 squared minus 15 squared. Solving this, we are going to have AB equals to 20 centimeters. And this is the length of a frame. Question number 10, part A. Factorize the quadratic expression 3x squared minus 11x minus 20 by splitting the middle term. Okay, so this is the quadratic expression problem, and our middle term from our expression is negative 11. Okay, so to split this value, we are going to look for the two factors that can be added to give negative 11. And these two factors come from the product of coefficient of x squared and the constant term, that is 3 and negative 20. The product of these numbers is negative 60. Okay, so the factors are negative 15 and 4. Therefore, we are going to say negative 11 equals to negative 15 plus 4. Then let us substitute this into our expression. Then we are going to have 3x squared minus 15x plus 4x minus 20. Okay, so next, let us separate the terms. Then we are going to have in brackets 3x squared minus 15x plus in brackets 4x minus 20. Okay, so next we are going to factor out 3x and 4x respectively from the brackets. Then we are going to have 3x in brackets x minus 5 plus 4 in brackets x minus 5. Okay, so next let us factor out x minus 5 from the whole expression. Then we are going to have in brackets x minus 5 times in brackets 3x plus 4. And this is going to be our answer. Part B of the question, solve the equation 2x squared minus 3x minus 5 equals to 0 by completing the square. Okay, so to approach this problem by completing the square, we first divide the coefficient of x squared, which is 2, on each term in order to get 1 as a coefficient of x squared. Then our expression is going to be x squared minus 3 over 2x minus 5 over 2 equals to 0. Okay, so next let us move the constant term to our right hand side. Then our expression is going to be x squared minus 3 over 2x equals to 5 over 2. Okay, so next we are going to introduce another constant term. Let's say we call it as c on both sides, so that we can complete the square on our left hand side. Then our equation is going to be x squared minus 3 over 2x plus c equals to 5 over 2 plus c. Then let us find the value of c by using the following formula, which says c equals to, in brackets, b over 2 squared. Okay, so from our equation, b equals to negative 3 over 2. Then c is going to equal negative 3 over 2 squared, which is going to be negative 3 over 4 squared. Then let us now substitute this value of c into our equation. Then our expression is going to be x squared minus 3 over 2x plus negative 3 over 4 squared equals to 5 over 2 plus negative 3 over 4 squared. Okay, so now let us solve our right hand side. Then our expression is going to be x squared minus 3 over 2x plus negative 3 over 4 squared equals to 49 over 16. Okay, so since we've completed the square from our left hand side, then we can factorize the left hand side as follows. In brackets, x minus 3 over 4 squared. Then for here we are going to take x and the value of root c. Then our equation is going to be, in brackets, x minus 3 over 4 squared equals to 49 over 16. Okay, so next let us apply the root both sides. And we have to remember to introduce the plus or minus sign for the root. Then our expression is going to be x minus 3 over 4 equals to plus or minus under root 49 over 16. Of which, solving this, we are going to have x equals to 3 over 4 plus or minus 7 over 4. So next we are going to have x equals to 3 over 4 plus 7 over 4 or x equals to 3 over 4 minus 7 over 4, of which after solving the values we are going to have x equals to 5 over 2 or x equals to -1, and this is going to be our answer. Question number 11. The number of patients who attended maternity clinic daily in June 2017 in a certain village was recorded as follows. So we've been given several information there. Part A, we are supposed to make a frequency distribution by grouping the number of patients in the class intervals 20 to 29, 30 to 39, and so on. So recording the frequency distribution table is the table that contains class intervals and their corresponding frequencies. Okay, so to prepare the table, we first find the class size using the grouping given. Then from the observation, we can see the trend. The class size is 10. Okay, so to get other intervals, we are going to take 10 plus the class limits of the previous group up to when the maximum data is covered. So we are going to sketch our table. The table will have a column for the class interval and for the frequencies. So we start with the grouping given. So here we have 20 to 29, 30 to 39, 40 to 49, 50 to 59, 60 to 69, and 70 to 79. Okay, so next we are going to count the number of data that falls on a particular class interval in order to fill the frequency part. Okay, so for the first one, counting the data from this class interval, we have 2 data. And for the next one, we have 6. The next one we have 9. The next is 6. The next is 3. And the last one is 4. Okay, so next let us finalize our frequency distribution table by finding the summation of a frequency, of which after summing the values we are going to have summation of frequency equals to 30. And this is the required frequency distribution table. Part B of the question, by using the frequency distribution table obtained in Part A, we are supposed to calculate the mean number of patients per day. Okay, so to calculate the mean, let us recall the following formula, which says mean equals to summation of x times f over summation of f, of which f is the frequency and x is the class mark given by the average of the class limits. Okay, so now let us add 2 columns for our distribution table. Then we are going to add the column for x and the column for the fx. Okay, so to find the class mark x, for example, for the first one, we are going to take 20 plus 29 over 2 in order to find the average of these limits. Then doing that, our value for the first group is going to be 24.5. Okay, so now using the same approach, we are going to fill the rest of the information. Now for the second group, the value is going to be 34.5. The next is 44.5. Next is 54.5. The next is 64.5. And the last one is 74.5. Okay, so next, let us fill the values for the product of frequency and the class mark. Okay, so for the first one, we are going to take 2 times 24.5, of which after solving the values, the answer is going to be 49. Okay, so we are going to apply the same approach on the following groups. Then the next is going to be 207. The next is going to be 400.9. The next is 327. The next is 193.5. And the last one is 298. Okay, so now let us find the summation of x, which after summing the values, we are having 297. And then we are going to find the summation of fx, which after summing the values, we are getting 1,475.4. Okay, so now let us substitute the values from this table to our formula. Then we are going to have mean equals to 1,475.4 over 30, of which after solving the values, we are going to get 49.18. Okay, so because these are number of patients, then we are going to approximate them into 50. Then we are saying the mean number of patients per day is 50 patients. For part C, we are supposed to construct a pie chart for the frequency distribution obtained in part A. Okay, so for this one, we have to know that a pie chart is a cycle that represents the class intervals in terms of degrees, and the sum of the degrees should be equal to 360 degrees. Then to find the degrees for each class intervals, we are going to use the following formula, which says frequency over summation of frequency times 360 degrees. Okay, so for example, for the first class interval, we are taking frequency as 2. The degree is going to be 2 over 30 times 360 degrees, of which solving this, we are having 24 degrees. Okay, so using the same approach, let us fill the rest of degrees for the class intervals. Then the next one is going to be 72 degrees. The next is 108 degrees. The next is 72 degrees. The next is 36 degrees. And the last one is 48 degrees. And for this one, the summation of all degrees must equal 360 degrees. Okay, so next we are going to construct a pie chart using the degree values above. So we are going to draw the cycle, and then we are going to make partitions according to the values of the angles we have. And then we are going to label parts and assign the values of angle for each part. Then our final chart is going to be like this. Question number 12, part A. A ship sails from Pemba with those coordinates to Dar es Salaam with those coordinates. If it leaves Pemba at 11:30 a.m. and arrived in Dar es Salaam at 13:30 p.m. using pi equals to 22/7, and the radius of the Earth is 6,370 kilometers, then we are supposed to find the speed of the ship in kilometers per hour. Okay, so this is the Earth as a sphere problem. So first we are going to sketch our problem. We are going to draw the earth. So here we are drawing the line for our equator. And at this point, here is Pemba with 4.5 south, 39.5 east. And here is Dar es Salaam with 7.5 south and 39.5 east. So here is north, here is south, here is east, and here is west. Okay, so from the sketch above, we can see that Pemba and Dar es Salaam are located at the same longitude line. The line is at 39.5 degrees east, and they are in a different latitude line, 4.5 degrees south and 7.5 degrees south. Okay, so to find the speed, we need to know the distance traveled and the time taken. Okay, so let us recall the formula for the speed, which says speed equals to distance over time. Okay, so we see from our question, we have been provided with a time scale, and the distance can be found from the degrees given. Okay, so the distance formula is given by distance equals to theta over 360 times 2 pi r, of which theta is the difference of angles between the latitudes. Okay, so we are going to call this as equation number 1. Okay, so let us now find the value of theta. So we are going to take 7.5 minus 4.5, of which after solving the values, we are getting 3.0. Okay, so now let us substitute the values which we have. Then distance equals to 3 degrees over 360 degrees times 2 times 22 over 7 times 6,370, of which after solving the values, we are having 333.67. Okay, so next, let us calculate the time from the time scale given, which is from 11:30 a.m. to 13:30 p.m. Okay, so from 11:30 to 12:30, it is 1 hour. And from 12:30 to 13:30, it is also 1 hour. Then summing these two, we are having 2 hours, and this is the total time taken. Okay, so now let us substitute the value of a distance and time in a speed formula. Then we are going to have speed equals to 333.67 over 2, of which after solving the values, we are having 166.835. And this is going to be the speed of a ship in kilometers per hour. Part B, sketch a square pyramid whose base is PQRS, vertex is at W, and center is at N. Then answer the questions that follow. For Roman 1, we are supposed to state the projection of RW on PQRS. Okay, so let us now sketch the square pyramid. We start by drawing the square base. So here is P, here is Q, here is R, and here is S, and at the center it is N. Then our vertex is going to be here, it is labeled as W as given from the question. Okay, so here we are drawing the line PW, and here is SW, and here we are drawing QW, and here we are drawing RW. Okay, so from our sketch, we can conclude that the projection of RW on PQRS is line PR. For Roman 2, we are supposed to name the angle between WS and the plane PQRS. Okay, so for this one, this can be determined by first drawing the project of WS on PQRS. Here the project is going to be SQ. So from the figure, the angle between WS and the PQRS is an angle WSN. Part C of the question, the volume of a square pyramid is 28.2 centimeter cubic. If the sides of its base are 4 centimeters long, find the height of the pyramid corrected to one decimal place. Okay, so for this one, the volume of a pyramid can be determined by using the following formula, which says volume equals to 1/3 times base area times height. Okay, so from this formula, we can find the height of a pyramid. And to find the base area, we are going to take the length times the length. Okay, so we've been told that this is a square base, then let us apply the values. We are having area of a base equals to 4 times 4, of which after solving the values, we are going to have 16 centimeters squared. Okay, so now let us substitute this value into our volume of a pyramid formula. Then we are going to have 28.2 equals to 1/3 times 16 times 8. Okay, so now let us make H as a subject. Then we are going to have H equals to 28.2 times 3 over 16. Solving this, we are going to have 8 equals to 5.2875 centimeters. Okay, we've been told to put this in one decimal place. So the height of a pyramid is going to be 5.3 centimeters. Question number 13, part A, Roman 1. Given the matrices P with those values and Q with those values, we are supposed to find 2P minus 1/3Q. Okay, so this is the matrix problem. Let us now substitute the values of P and Q in the expression given. Then we are going to have 2P minus 1/3Q equals to 2 times matrix 2, 5, negative 3, 4, minus 1/3 times matrix 9, negative 15, 12, 3. Okay, so now let us apply the scalar multiplication. We are going to have matrix 2 times 2, 5 times 2, negative 3 times 2, 4 times 2, minus matrix 9 times 1/3, negative 15 times 1 over 3, 12 times 1 over 3, 3 times 1 over 3. Solving this, we are going to have matrix 4, 10, negative 6, 8, minus matrix 3, negative 1, 4, 1. Okay, so now let us subtract the matrices. We are going to have matrix 4 minus 3, 10 minus 5, negative 6 minus 4, 8 minus 1. Solving this, we are going to have matrix 1, 15, negative 10, 7. And this is going to be our answer. For Roman 2, if the matrix 4k, 2, 8, 9k is singular, find the possible values of k. Okay, so for this one, we have to recall that the determinant of a singular matrix is 0. Okay, so with this in mind, we can use this to determine the value of k. Okay, so now let us recall the formula for the determinant, which says determinant equals to product of a leading diagonal minus product of a main diagonal. Then determinant is going to equal 4k times 9k minus 2 times 8, of which, solving this, we are going to have 36k squared minus 16. Okay, so for a singular matrix, determinant equals to 0. Then substituting this, we are having 0 equals to 36k squared minus 16. Okay, so let us now collect the like terms. Our equation is going to be 36k squared equals to 16. Let us now divide by 36 both sides. Then our equation is going to be k squared equals to 16 over 36. Okay, so next we are going to apply the root both sides with the plus or minus to eliminate the square. Then our equation is going to be k equals to plus or minus under root 16 over 36, which is going to equal plus or minus 4 over 6. Simplifying further, we are having plus or minus 2 over 3. So we see that k is going to equal 2 over 3 or negative 2 over 3. And these are going to be our answers. Part B, solve the following system of linear equations by using the inverse matrix method. So we've been given several linear equations there. Okay, so first let us rearrange the pair of equations. We are going to have 2x plus 3y equals to 7, x minus 2y equals to 0. Then next, let us write this pair using matrix format. Then we are going to have matrix 2, 1, 3, negative 2 times matrix x, y equals to matrix 7, 0. And we are going to call this as equation number 1. Okay, so now we are going to let A equals to matrix 2, 1, 3, negative 2. Okay, so finding the inverse of matrix A, first we are going to find the determinant of a matrix. So determinant equals to product of a leading diagonal minus product of a main diagonal. Then determinant equals to 2 times negative 2 minus 1 times 3, of which after solving the values, determinant equals to negative 7. Okay, so now matrix A inverse equals to 1 over determinant times matrix negative 2, negative 1, negative 3, and 2. And this matrix is found by exchanging position of elements of a leading diagonal and negating the main diagonal. Okay, so now let us substitute the value of a calculated determinant in our formula. Then we are having matrix A inverse equals to negative 1 over 7 times matrix negative 2, negative 1, negative 3, 2. Okay, so next we are going to multiply matrix A inverse on both sides from our equation number 1. Then our equation is going to be negative 1 over 7 times matrix negative 2, negative 1, negative 3, 2 times matrix 2, 1, 3, negative 2 times matrix x, y equals to negative 1 over 7 times matrix negative 2, negative 1, negative 3, 2 times matrix 7, 0. Okay, so we know that matrix times its inverse is going to give an identity matrix. Then we are going to replace this part with an identity matrix. Then our equation is going to be matrix 1, 0, 0, 1 times matrix x, y equals to negative 1 over 7 times matrix negative 2, negative 1, negative 3, 2 times matrix 7, 0. We also know that matrix times an identity matrix is going to give us a matrix itself. Then for this part, we are just going to remain with matrix x and y. Then our equation is going to be matrix x, y equals to negative 1 over 7 times matrix negative 2, negative 1, negative 3, 2 times matrix 7, 0. Okay, so now let us multiply the matrix on our right hand side. Then we are having matrix x, y equals to negative 1 over 7 times matrix negative 2 times 7 plus negative 3 times 0, negative 1 times 7 plus 2 times 0. Computing this, we are going to have matrix x, y equals to negative 1 over 7 times matrix negative 14, negative 7. Okay, so now let us apply scalar multiplication. Then we are going to have x, y equals to matrix negative 14 times negative 1 over 7, negative 7 times negative 1 over 7. Solving this, we are having x, y equals to 2, 1. Okay, so from here, by comparison, x equals to 2 and y equals to 1. And these are our answers. Part C of the question, by using the transformation matrix, we've been given the matrix there. We are supposed to find the image of the point A, -2, 3, and then we are supposed to state the axis in which the point is reflected. Okay, so this is the transformation problem, and to find the image of a point, we are going to use the following relation, which says image equals to transformation times point. Okay, so we are having x image, y image equals to matrix 1, 0, 0, -1 times matrix x, y. Okay, so next we are going to substitute the values of x and y from the question. Then our equation is going to be x image, y image equals to matrix 1, 0, 0, -1 times -2, 3. Okay, so now let us multiply this matrix. We are going to have x image, y image equals to matrix -2 times 1 plus 0 times 3, 0 times 3 plus -1 times 3, of which, solving this, we are going to have -2, -3. And this is the image required. Okay, so looking at this one, we can say that since an image lies on 4th quadrant, then an axis of reflection is y equals to 0, that is x-axis. Question number 14, part A, calculate the values of function of 1 and function of -pi if f is defined by the function of x with those values. Okay, so this is the step function problem. First, we are going to start with function of 1. Okay, so since we have two values of function in our equation, that is function of x equals to x plus 2 and function of x equals to 2, to determine which one to deal with, we are going to look for the values of x and check where it lies between the ranges of x given. For this one, we see x equals to 1 lies in 0 less or equal to x less or equal to 2. So we are going to choose this one, which is function of x equals to 2. Therefore, function of 1 equals to 2. Okay, so for the function of -pi, we see that x equals to -pi lies in x is less or equal to 0. So we are going to use function of x equals to x plus 2. Okay, so from this function, let us substitute the values of x with -pi. Then function of -pi equals to -pi plus 2. Okay, so substituting the value of pi as 3.14, then we are having function of -pi equals to -1.14. Then these are going to be our answers. For part B, using the information given in part A, find the inverse function of -1. Okay, so for this one, we are going to check where -1 lies. Since it lies in x less or equal to 0, Then we are going to use function of x equals to x plus 2. Okay, so now we are going to let function of x equals to y. Then we are saying y equals to x plus 2. Okay, so to find the inverse of a function, first we are going to interchange the variables x and y. Thereafter we are going to make y as a subject. Then doing that, we are going to have x equals to y plus 2. Okay, so now let us make y as a subject. Then our equation is going to be y equals to x minus 2. Okay, so next we are going to let y equals to inverse function of x. Okay, so we are having inverse function of x equals to x minus 2. Okay, so from inverse function of -1, we see that x equals to -1. Then we are going to have inverse function of -1 equals to -1 minus 2, of which, solving the values, we are going to have -3. And this is going to be our answer. Part C of the question, a trader has a space for 5 refrigerators. The trader planned to spend 2.4 million shillings to buy refrigerators of 2 brands, Hitachi and Sony. Each Hitachi refrigerator cost 600,000 shillings, whereas each Sony refrigerator cost 400,000 shillings. The unit profit for Hitachi and Sony refrigerators are 200,000 shillings and 150,000 shillings respectively. Denoting X and Y as the number of Hitachi and Sony refrigerators respectively, we are supposed to determine the number of refrigerators for each brand that maximizes profit. Okay, so this is the linear programming problem, and we are going to use the graph in order to solve this problem. Okay, so we've been given X and Y are the variables to use. Since the trader has a space for accommodating 5 refrigerators, then X plus Y should not be more than 5. Then we are going to have X plus Y less or equal to 5. And also, from the information given, 600,000 shillings is used to buy one Hitachi. So 600,000 X will be used to buy X number of refrigerators for Hitachi. And 400,000 will be used to buy one Sony. Then 600,000 Y will be spent to buy Y Sony refrigerators. So the summation of these two and the amount spent is going to be less or equal to 2.4 million shillings. And also we've been told that he is planning to buy 2 brands. Then X and Y should be each greater or equal to 0. Then we are having X is greater or equal to 0 and Y is greater or equal to 0. Okay, so from the inequalities we have, we are going now to define the boundary lines. Our first line is X plus Y equals to 5. We are going to call this as equation number 1. Our second line is going to be 600,000 X plus 400,000 Y equals to 2.4 million. And we are going to call this as equation number 2. Other boundary lines are this one, X equals to 0 and Y equals to 0. Okay, so now let us simplify equation number 2 we are going to have 3x plus 2y equals to 12. And this is going to be our equation number 3. Okay, so next, let us determine the objective function of the trader. So we are taking 200,000 x as a profit for Hitachi plus 500,000 y as a profit of Sony. Then our objective function is going to be function of x, y max equals to 200,000 x plus 150,000 y. Okay, so next we are going to draw the graph in order to find this pair of x and y that is going to give us a maximum value of the objective function. So starting with x plus y equals to 5, we are going to use the intercept method in order to find the points. Okay, so for this one, when x equals to 0, y is going to be 5, and the points are 0, 5. And when y equals to 0, x is going to be 5, and our second point is 5, 0. Okay, so our next equation is 3x plus 2y equals to 12. So when x equals to 0, y is going to be 6. Then our point is going to be 0, 6. And when y equals to 0, x is going to be 4. And our point is going to be 4, 0. So we are going to use these points in order to draw the boundary lines in our graph. So we are going to start by drawing the axis, and we are going to shade the negative regions. Next, we are going to draw line x plus y equals to 5, and we are going to shade the unrequired region. Finally, we are going to draw line 3x plus 2y equals to 12, and also we are going to shade the unrequired region. Our final graph will look like this. Okay, so from the graph, we can see that our corner points from the feasible region are 0, 0, 0, 5, 4, 0, and 2, 3. Okay, so next, let us draw the table with the corner point and the objective function to see which pair of the points is going to give us the maximum value. So here we have corner points, and here we have the objective function, which we say function of x, y max equals to 200,000 x plus 150,000 y. Okay, so for our first point, we have 0, 0. Applying these values into our objective function, the answer is going to be 0. Our next corner points are 0, 5. Applying them, we are going to have 750,000. Our next point is 4, 0. Applying them, the answer is going to be 800,000. Our next point is 2, 3. Applying the values, we are having 850,000. Okay, so from the table above, we can see that points 2, 3 gives the maximum value for the objective function. Therefore, we can say that a trader must buy 2 Hitachi and 3 Sony in order to maximize the profit.